Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know I haven't uploaded anything in a really long time, but I plan to change this now. And to change that, I have come with a slightly different video from what I generally post. I actually got to be a part of an esports tournament's functional elements, right? So I was an admin. I got the chance to work as an admin for the BGMS Season 2 hosted by Nordwind Gaming. So the whole objective of this video will be to take you guys through of what it is to be at an esports LAN event and what it is to work with the people there and get stuff done to actually show what you guys see on the screen as viewers, right? So starting off, how I got this opportunity is that a few months ago I actually won LAN giveaway passes to the VCL essay tournament that happened in May, if I'm not wrong. And there I actually got in touch with a few people and just made sure that I remain within, I remain within some contact with them. So if there's anything that I can do for them for any kind of work, I would definitely be up for it because I've always been very enthusiastic about esports, and I definitely, would actually very, very appreciate if I get any kind of work opportunity. So I got in touch with a few people, and a few days before the tournament started, I got a message where I got an offer to be an admin. Uh, so, starting off with what an admin does, an admin is actually somebody who, if I have to put it in very short words, we are the ones who manage the teams on the stage, right? We are the only ones who have to manage them on the stage because there's nobody else apart from us and the teams, of course, on the stage. So, uh, to explain in a very small phase of what an admin does is we are the ones who have to invigilate as well. We have to make sure that the players are there on time, and we have to make sure that the devices on which the players are playing, uh, they are properly set up. There's nothing extra that's running in the background, and we have to make sure that the game is running in a very decent frame rate, and there's no network connections, and if there are, we have to first solve them on our own, right? We have to first solve them on our own level. If not, then we can you know report it to the other people who are sitting back at the production, and we are the ones who have to make sure that they're in the lobby within time. Basically, we have to maintain the conduct on stage, and that's what an admin does. If I have to explain in a very small phase, so I've explained that how I got this opportunity, and why I wanted this opportunity was because I have been into esports for a really long time as a viewer, and I wanted to ascend from that, and I wanted to actually be somebody who's you know contributing towards something. Not saying that viewers don't contribute. The viewer are the one, like we guys are the one that you know value whatever we are being given, but I wanted to be a part of the people who create this whole thing that the whole gaming community enjoys following and watching a lot. And that's the reason that I wanted to be a part of this. And taking you guys through, there's a lot of stuff that goes right. So we have multiple dry runs as well, which you guys don't see on the stream. A dry run is basically, you can say, it's a test match, right? So we gather all the teams on the stage, that the groups that have to play, and we get them in lobby, and then we play a few matches just to see how the internet connection works and how the game's performing in general, so that before the official matches start, if there's any issues, we can just clear them out so that we have a very level playing ground during the official matches. Okay. And these are dry runs, and there are multiple things. We are always connected on walkies because we constantly need to be in touch with the production team and the other teams as well present on the esports arena, right? Because we all have to work in absolute harmony with absolute accuracy within our work, right? We can't delay anything for a second because everything is being live telecasted. So whatever we do, we have to do it in a perfect synchronous manner, because if we don't do so, any kind of delay from any part of the functional elements of an esports tournament, it's directly going to affect in what time are you guys actually going to see the live feed. So we all have to work in a very streamlined and a very close to perfect manner. Um yeah, so that's how we have to make sure that if it's 9:30, because BGMS was uh, live at 9:30 on Star Sports. I'm sure everybody has watched it. And So yeah, so at 9:30, then in order to make it sharp 9:30, the work actually starts way way before that. I, as an admin, our call time was at 6 to 6:30, and the official matches were 9:30, so it was 3 hours prior, right? But there were multiple people who had to be present at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The official tournament, the matches have to start after 7.5 hours of the time that they are supposed to arrive. So there's a lot of work that goes. We have to set up the stage again, the lights, the connections, and the promotional banners and everything. We just have to set. There's a lot because whatever you guys see is just a few screens, but in order to get those screens up and running and working in a very close to perfect manner, there's a lot that goes behind, and that's why there's a lot of people who have to arrive way earlier than the show is actually about to start at the assigned time, right? So that consists of a lot of people. We have lights, we have connections, we have invigilators, and we have the ones at the production arena area, and we have a whole lot of team that just has to work together in order to get stuff done. And yeah, I think that summarizes of what teams have to work with in order to be, in a position to play. So that's how it works. And what else do we have to talk about? Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So moving on. Yeah. So moving on. Let's talk about my experience as an admin. Earlier in this part of the video, I explained what it is to be working as an admin, right? Like the stuff that we have to do, and I just gave a very brief explanation of what the other people do. Now, my experience as an admin was an absolute blast. I'll be very honest. I absolutely loved it. It was just really good. It was just really, really good. Because, first of all, the environment that I wanted to be in, it was very comfortable for me because that's the place that I wanted to be in. It kind of felt like a safe space. Moreover, everybody there is absolutely amazing. It's just amazing to be to be around these kind of people, and there's everybody present there, from a person who is you know a caretaker, let's say, to one of the biggest star players. Everybody is there, and everybody is is under the same roof. And I think that's a really beautiful thing, because once you step into that place now, I see, I'll be very honest, I don't really follow BGMI esports a lot, but I still have a small gist of the esports stuff that's happening in our country for almost any game. So you would think, since anybody who watches YouTube or esports tournaments from the convenience of their homes, we look at the stars and these big players, and we feel that their behavior might differ, or it could be different or something like that, right? uh, or they might have that kind of behavior which might not be on equal terms with everybody. I actually got to realize that that is not the case, to be honest, for most of the people. When you enter that arena, you're under the same roof. Everybody is treated equally, and everybody treats each other equally, and that's the most beautiful part. Because from a caretaker to one of the biggest players of the biggest teams, everybody was you know having fun with each other, if that's a way that I can put it out. Like, the whole environment there feels homely if you're really interested in gaming. And I would actually suggest anybody who's watching this video and wants to get into esports, or into the management stuff, try and make your way into this place, because I know you for a fact you're gonna have a blast. Because you end up making friends, you end up making brothers by the end of the whole event. I was there for a month straight. Every day I had to be there, and it was just an absolute blast for me, because I ended up making a lot of friends, a lot of brothers, and the amount of stuff that I got to learn is absolutely amazing. Heads up, I'm actually going to make another video. It might not be as long, or it may be longer, but I'm going to make a separate video on what I had learned through this whole 1 month of my experience. This whole video is only to give you a gist of uh, an esports tournament, and to be physically present there, right? So yeah, I was talking about the behavior of people there. So obviously behavior is a very subjective thing, right? It can be good to you and it can be bad to me, right? But I didn't really see a lot of this when I was there during my whole 1 month time of this whole esports tournament. Sure, everybody has some behavioral impulses, and I think that's a very human thing, but I never saw anything get out of hand, and which actually shows the level of maturity that people there carry within themselves, or be it anybody, be it a player, be it a management, be it somebody who's at the back end or anything like that. Everybody carry a very constructed sense of maturity, and that's a very good thing in my opinion. Anyway, so the behavior and the vibe of the people is what makes this whole place feel like a home for 1 month. Although the whole traveling, the late night traveling, because obviously the matches end at somewhere around 12 o'clock, right? But after that, it takes another 1 hour or something for us to wrap stuff up, and then we used to go back home. So I used to come back home after the event at 2 o'clock, and then every day in the morning, in the evening next day, I had to be there by 6 to 7 p.m. So there's a lot that goes after we're done with the matches, because then we have to set the tables up, and since, as I mentioned, we are all connected over walkies, we have to give back the walkies, and we just have to make sure that there's no personal belonging or anything of any player left, and if there is, we have to take care of it. uh, and there are a few other things that work. So what one thing that we as an admin have to do as well is we are actually supposed to upload the screenshots of player statistics as well, because at the end of the tournament you might have seen Justin from Gladiator Esports got the MVP tournament, MVP of the tournament, and prize money for that and that. So for that, statistics are to be recorded and maintained, right? So these statistics are provided by us only, because we are the ones who are present on the stage. So what happens when the match is ending, the match has finished, let's say team X, right? They get eliminated from the match. So the moment they get eliminated, the admin assigned to the stand where team X Park is sitting, right? So what we have to do is we have to take a image of their player screen, of a specific game screen that comes after their game has concluded, which has certain stats. It's health restored, damage given, and it's a whole lot of stuff. So we have to click that image, and then after the tournament, after the day of the tournament ends, we have to upload that image online, and that way we keep a track and record of the player statistics as well, so that all of that statistics, they get analyzed, they get tracked, so that at the end of the tournament we see that the additional prize is who deserves what. So that's another thing that admin have to do. And yeah, so this is how admins have to work around. It might sound like it's not a lot, but trust me, it's a lot, because uh, speaking on a very plain ground, we have to be very very attentive. We always have to be on our toes. We have to be the quickest at the stage, because if we aren't the ones who are quickest at the stage, the whole thing just gets a hang because of us, because we are the ones who have to get the players in a position so that they can play once the game starts, and we are the ones who have to set up the lobbies as well, right? So if we are the ones who are slacking off on our work, the whole live feed is going to take a hit because of us. So we always have to be very attentive, very quick in our work, and we have to be standing on the stage for nearly 3 hours. We don't get any time to sit. We sit before the tournament starts, and we sit after we're done, after the whole live stream ends, and then we finally get to take a breath of relief. We get, we have a food and everything. So we have to stand there for 3 hours straight, and there's not a lot of movement that we can do, because stuff is being telecasted live on national basis. So we always have to maintain a decorum within ourselves and within the players on the stage as well, because we as admins are the ones who are representing Nordwin Gaming on a very national scale, right? Because whenever a camera would pan, it would be the players and the admins that are being visible on the stage. So we have to make sure everything is just right and tight. And this is why being a part of an esports tournament is really important, and it just was a very dear experience to me, is because of the amount of stuff that I got to learn. I learned how to work with hundreds of people. There were hundreds and hundreds of people there, and that's something that I really really appreciate being around, because there's so much that I had learned by the end of the tournament. There's so much that I had actually observed, and a lot of stuff about esports that I thought that I would never get to experience, I did. And there's a lot of stuff that I actually got to learn, which I never even thought that I would be able to learn, or I didn't even know that they existed. Right. So, in a very small example, I didn't know that the amount of work that an admin had to do was this much, right? Because in any tournament that I used to watch, I used to always notice that there's this guy wearing this black t-shirt and a mask, and he's standing behind the team. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's just the one who just has to invigilate that. Hoping none of them is, cheating or using any unfair means. But that's just not the only thing that we have to do. There's 100 other things that we have to do, and how much the live cast depends on the admins there as well, right? So there's a lot of stuff that I never thought would actually be going on behind, but there actually is a stuff, you know. It's a whole lot of stuff that's going on behind, and that's just something, uh, it almost felt eye-opening to me, and it actually made me value the whole process of everybody, including the players, the caretakers, the teams, the managers, their coaches, everybody. I just love that the whole environment there is full of people who are actually passionate about gaming and have taken some risk at some point of their lives. And it's just an environment of hard work, and that's the most beautiful thing about it, because everybody you see there has made their way into that arena by some sort of hard work. The players, we all know they had to work hard, and what all they had to go. The managers, the coaches, the owners. I myself had to go through a lot of stuff in order to actually be able to land this kind of opportunity. And yes, everybody there has, or I'm pretty sure they we all are working hard there, and that's just something that's it's easily radiant in that whole environment. If you even just attend that place as an viewer, and you try and put more emphasis towards observing what's happening around you instead of observing the game, you'll come to realize that there's constant hard work by each and everybody who's working there, and that's just something really amazing. Because at the end of the day, people are treating this thing as it's their professional endeavor, right? Nobody's there to just have fun, so that no work slacks. We have fun, and the reason we have fun there is because this is the thing that we like to do. And if you are doing something professionally that you like to do, you're obviously going to have fun with it. That's a very natural thing that's going to happen to you automatically. So the whole environment there is an absolute blast if you're somebody who really loves gaming and who loves esports in general and wants to do something in it. And that's why I'm actually going to suggest that if you guys want to do something, or if you just guys just want to get a gist of how stuff works there, try and get your way into it. There are ways that you can apply on Nordwin's website and other TO's website. Just try and get into it, and you'll see how much work it goes and how fun it is. I'll personally say ki if I am given a chance to revisit this whole month, I would. Although it was really tiresome for me because of all the traveling and stuff, but I would definitely keep that all apart, and I would love to re experience that 1 month of mine, because I met a lot of people, and you know I met a lot of big names which I never thought. I personally met Scout, and that actually felt really nice to me. I never thought that there's a whole bunch of people that I never thought that I would get to meet IRL. I always used to think that the screen is the max that I'll get to look at them, right? But who knew that after some time I would actually be in a position where I have to personally work with them, right? And that actually felt really nice. And apart, from just Scout itself, of course, everybody there is just so fun to interact with, right? It's just so fun. Everybody from players to the caretaker staff, everybody there is just like having a blast while they're, making sure that they don't slack off with their work. And that's something I really enjoyed. And coming to the part where how is it to be actually interacting and constantly working with teams. So I'll just give a small list of the teams that I managed during the whole tournament. So I managed WSB Gaming, Orangutan Esports, OR Esports, Global Esports, Team Velocity, and One Blade and Team Entity, and Kemin Esports as well. So I managed these 8 teams on stage during my whole tournament, and I think 8 teams is enough for me to actually give you a slight experience and a slight insight of how these players are on a realistic note, right? Because there's not a lot that anybody can mask when you're physically present around them for more for not more, it's as like a month only, right? And I'll tell you, so obviously human behavior is very subjective, right? But I would still say that apart from just the 8 teams that I managed as an admin, I was almost in interaction with everybody there. So I'll tell you this one thing: the players, as you might think that some of them might have an attitude problem because they're big and they're doing well in life and they have a big team, big reputation, big legacy, and everything like that. Uh, it's only partially true. It's actually only partially true. Some of you might have some kind of perspective towards some player on the basis of what you only see through the screen. It might actually be wrong, and you might be right as well, but I'm only going to explain my part, right? That's why I'm saying that it's actually partially true, because the players aren't actually the kind of people that you might think that they might have attitude. They might not be the one who will talk to you nicely, because they are the players and we're just like admins. I did not really experience anything like that where I was devalued or not treated as anybody who was important towards the functionality of the esports tournament. And why I'm saying this is through the perspective of a player only. The players there were extremely cooperative. Some teams, I'm not going to name them, had some issues in some time, but of course everybody just got back on track, and it just doesn't take a lot of time, since I had already mentioned that everybody just carries there a very constructed sense of maturity there. So there's not a lot of stuff that you will face that's not the most ideal. So yes, the players there are very cooperative. Everybody is actually very nice, I'll be very honest. Everybody talks to you like they're your friend, and everybody just talks really nice, and everybody just wants to have a nice time there while giving their best towards the tournament. And everybody there wants to give their best, including the players as well as the team being the people who run the tournament, right? So the players, they're really nice. Everybody just there's this slight bond, or there's this slight sense of interaction that gets instilled between the admin and the team, because you have to be in interaction with them on daily basis for more than 3 hours, right? So you get to know some stuff with them, you get to connect with them, and you know they get to know about you, they get to connect with you, and you get to learn a lot. Because when you're standing with them, right, when you're standing with them during the matches, you see how they're communicating with each other, the mindset that they have. You'll actually come to understand why these kind of people are sitting at these places, at these levels of tournament, which are the biggest ones in the nation currently. You'll understand why are they there. Because I'll definitely say that all the players that they were sitting at that arena, they deserved to be there, solely because of the way they thought, solely because of the way they worked their life throughout to this point in their lives, to be able to be sitting in a tier 1 tournament, and playing these tournaments where everybody has an eye on them, everybody is rooting for them, thousands and crores of people are actually rooting for their favorite teams to win, right? Which is actually very commendable, and you actually end up developing a very deep sense of respect for the players there. Because then you get to actually experience the hard work and the amount of stuff that they actually have to go through. It might sound like a very rosy experience for the players, because we only see the luxury and the stuff that they get, but we generally don't get to see the amount of stuff and the things that they had to go through in order to deserve the luxury, any luxury that they experience. And so this mutual respect itself is something that I learned there, which is something a very valuable experience for myself, and something that I'm definitely going to take back home with myself. This thing is actually really important as a learning, because you get to know how to respect somebody, when to respect somebody, and if you want to respect somebody. Because obviously you get to meet every kind of person there, but to be on a very conclusive perspective and a conclusive note, everybody there was really amazing. Very nice people there. Everything was nice. I would actually like to thank Nordwin Gaming for organizing these kind of tournaments that bring together such passionate and such hardworking people, and to actually keep this whole gaming community in, complete motion, giving out to people who are asking for this kind of action, which is actually really commendable, because I've seen after that, this whole experience of mine, that the amount of people going out of their way to get stuff done there is absolutely amazing, and that's actually very commendable. So again, I would like to thank Nordwin Gaming for giving me an opportunity as well, right? Because I had not been there. If I hadn't been there, I would definitely not be making this video in front of you guys. So that's something that I'm really thankful for. And yeah, so I think there's nothing left that I can tell you from the perspective of an admin. If there's anything I would left, just let me know in the comment section. I'll definitely be up there to reply to all your comments, any kind of stuff that you guys want to ask. And I would actually appreciate a lot of feedback. If there's anybody who's watching this video, I would actually appreciate some feedback over how the video was. If there's any kind of point that I might have missed, it is something that you guys want to know of, an esports tournament, something that you guys were always curious about. I'm sure that I will be having some knowledge about it, because I've been there now, so I think I can give you an idea of stuff. And yeah, so I'd actually would appreciate if you guys would ask your comments, ask questions in comments. And I'll see you guys in the next video.